try to check my audio setting. But do you hear? Can you hear me speak? Probably. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I don't know what to do about this. Let me turn the music off. Let's see. Okay, so there's turn the music off and trying to see if I don't know what the cause is. Okay, let me disconnect. Yeah, so hopefully you can hear me now. Man, it's so hot. And if I turn on the fan, you probably hear some noise. Let me try. Okay. Okay, so the sound is clear now. Thank you. So let me continue. And if you have any question, feel free to drop the question and I'll respond as I'm working. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Akambe and Mikhail. Thank you. Yeah. So back to what I was doing. So I'm actually using a reference. I usually use references when studying. So I'm using a reference. I think there's a lag. So please, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll respond. I want to try to do more of this on maybe on Fridays or something. Maybe on Fridays, I'll try to do like every week. Okay, there's an echo after you speak. Sounds like sound wave from transformer. Ah, that's weird. I think it's probably the standing fan. There's a standing fan at the other end of the room. So I kind of need that fan because it's really hot. So um forgive me for forgive me for that sound. It's too hot in here. So I'm sorry. I need to use it. I need to use it. But so I live in Nigeria, and the reality of living in a country like Nigeria is that we still like have power failures. So at the moment, I'm using an inverter in my house. So once the power is restored, I should be able to use the air conditioning. If I'm using the air conditioning, then you won't hear the sound. So sorry about that. Please, if you have any questions, feel free to drop it. I know I didn't make any announcements before doing this live stream, so I'm not expecting um I'm not expecting a lot of viewers, but I really appreciate the fact that I have two. Like I wasn't even thinking I was gonna have this much, so thank you so much. I remember them times in Trinidad, stakeholder. Yeah, yeah. I didn't know it was the same in Trinidad. That's the reality in Nigeria. So yeah. Um, so I'm also working on I'm currently working on a master class will that I will launch very soon. So but I will make an official announcement for that one. I really want to um show like show artists what like share the knowledge that I have. It's just that YouTube sometimes is very difficult to um, being a YouTuber and being a an artist are two different things. So that's why I've not been very consistent. Like that's why I've not been consistent. But I want to try to revive all that. Um, hopefully, I've not lost too many followers in the process. Well, I want to try to revive my YouTube career. That's why I'm trying. I'm starting out with live stream. Do you do you work with raster files or vectors? Raster file. So I use Click Studio Paint. I don't know if Click Studio Paint does vector. I don't use I don't use vector. I don't My workflow is not related to vector in any way. Like last time I know how to use Illustrator. I used to use Illustrator in the past, but that was the only time I dealt with vector. I don't Most of my stuff is rasterized, it's not vector. I'm from Nigeria too, so I totally understand. Oh yeah, I can be. Yeah, that's the reality of being in Nigeria. Bro, the way you paint black skin, teach me. News like that. Yo, um, that's what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm trying to show you. So maybe, okay, you know what? Maybe something that'll make this easier is if I copy the reference picture and paste it inside. So let me copy the reference picture. So I'm going to copy the reference and paste it here. Yeah, but I usually don't. So I'm doing this so that it's easy for people watching to see what I'm doing, but I usually don't like to put it on the same screen. I like to look from a separate screen, a separate monitor. So I have like another monitor I'm looking at while drawing or while painting. Uh, yeah, so that's just right. So let me continue. So what I try to do is you when you want to start painting, you want to make sure that you start with a what's it called? A mid-tone. So my mid-tone is somewhere around here. So sorry, somewhere around here. That's my mid-tone. So I know that all the darks are going to go this way, and then all the lights are going to go this way. So as long as you have this at the back of your mind, you can work your way around it. But then there are also some more nuances in painting because you have to look at temperature. So when you are on the if you move to the right, then it becomes warmer. So if I move to the right, it becomes warmer, and then if I move to the left, it becomes more gray and cooler. So as long as you keep this at the back of your mind, you can't go wrong. Let me move this. So then also another thing too that another thing too that is very useful is making sure that you are moving. So based on the temperature and how what you're looking at, you want to play with the you want to move your hue. You want to change the hue. So if I go to the left, if I move my hues to the left, it becomes cooler, and if I move it to the right, it becomes warmer. So you keep that at the back of your mind. So there are certain parts of her body that we will be, that when I'm painting, I'm going to move to the left just so that it feels cooler. And then some parts I move to the right. And you need this hue shift because it makes your painting more rich and more nuanced. Because if you're just painting on one hue, then your drawing looks like your painting looks like a grayscale, or it looks monochromatic. That's the right word, monochromatic. Yes. So in order to avoid your stuff looking monochromatic, you want to move change your hues, like do like hue shift. So you're moving from moving your wheel on the color wheel to the left or to the right. So as I paint, you notice me moving this cursor. This cursor is your hue. This is the hue, and I like to change the hue. So this is Clip Studio Paint. On some interfaces or some softwares like Photoshop, it's square like this, but I don't like this square. I prefer the triangle. So I'm used to the triangle already. So back to work. Let me see if there are any more questions. Clip Studio X has vector option as well. Yo, I'm sure it does. I'm sure Clip Studio Paint has vector options, but I don't use vector. I'm not. I kind of feel like vector is appropriate for people who do like graphic design and stuff. I'm not really like illustrations, like doing like stylized, like very stylized illustrations. People who do very stylized illustrations tend to use vector functionalities, but that's not my jam. So yeah, back to work. So I'm still looking at the screen. I'm not looking at this one. I prefer looking at the screen, the monitor. So And one thing you want to do is avoid screen like color picking. Color picking is a cheat way to it's a cheat way, but it doesn't really help. That's why I don't put the reference on the same canvas to avoid the temptation of color picking, because color picking doesn't help you to see colors and interpret colors well. So I prefer not to color pick. The artwork to in large formats without it being pixelated. Well, yeah, I mean, I haven't had to deal with clients that want it to be vector. No, I haven't dealt with clients like that. But yeah, I'm sure that there are clients like that. But in that case, you can always scale up. Like you can always do like some sort of um, some sort of resolution. I think that depends on the resolution of your canvas. So you can adjust the resolution of your canvas and the size of the canvas as well. Um, but you have to make sure that you start with a very high resolution, because if your resolution is low when you start, then it can become a problem. So because scaling it up would cause like pixelation, so it's better to start with a very large canvas when you are working on projects like that. So let me see if I can cover as much ground. I'm trying to cover as much ground as possible with this. And the technique that I like to use is to, like focus on big, large shapes first. Then as time goes on, and now I refine to smaller shapes. Let's make the brush is slightly bigger, so play the shapes. And then I'm moving the hue to this side to make it more. Yeah, this is clearly a brighter side. Clearly brighter. So when one thing I really like about painting black characters is the reflectivity of the skin is really high, especially for people that are really dark. So it's really fun for me. I don't know about other artists, but for me, I really like to paint black people because the skin is just way more interesting to explore. Let's So back to the hue, the mid-tone. So on this other side, I have to think about the mid-tone as well. But I'm not trying to sample this one, because I could easily sample this one, but I'd rather have to look at it than sample. So I don't want to sample. I don't want to sample. I just prefer, like, I just don't like the color picker tool. I don't know. I only like it if I'm working on actual projects, but for studies, I don't like it. Uh, so I really appreciate you guys joining me. Just so you know, I actually even like it when it's like teaching in the class and having like very few students. It's way more interesting than teaching a lot, like having a lot of people. And then also, there's there's also this thing about what's it called, imposter syndrome, because one thing I think artists generally do not like having to work in public, like having people watch them work generally, because there's a feeling like there's so much pressure on you to perform and to deliver. So it's just easier to deal with that when there are fewer people. So I appreciate you guys joining. I appreciate that the number is not so much. But as time goes on, I believe I'll have more confidence to, because this is the first time I'm live streaming my process, live streaming. So I believe with time I'll become more confident in showcasing my work process while performing, while working live. So another thing to I do is, like, if you sample this too, you see that there is, if you're looking at this side, you see that there is a small shift. There's both a hue shift on the ring, on this circular ring. There's a hue shift there, and there's also a value shift. So when you go down, you are changing your value. When you go right, left, right, you're changing your saturation. When you go round this ring, while around this circle, you are changing your hue. So that's hue, saturation, and value. So if you notice, when I select this two, it's actually shifting both the hue and the value, not so much with the saturation. So what I want to do is, so what I do sometimes is I just go in and find the midpoint between these two. So maybe somewhere around here, and then I can just like create like a gradient. So it helps me to create like gradients so that there's a smooth transition between one color to the other. That's a trick I use, but I don't know, maybe someone has a better trick. That's the trick I use. And yeah, in case you haven't noticed, I like to use like hard brush. So this is like a very generic hard brush. There's nothing special about it besides the fact that it has pressure. So this is just a regular hard brush. I like to paint with hard brush because it forces you to choose, to make the right decision about colors, as opposed to like just using like a gradient. You know, I'm not a huge fan of gradients. And artwork speaks for itself. Support will go for sure. Yeah, thank you so much, Mikhail. Mikhail. I hope I'm pronouncing your name well. Thank you, thank you. So back to what I'm doing. And try not to, when painting, try not to be afraid of throwing like colors, no matter how, like, even if you make a mistake, it's fine. You know, nobody needs to see your mistakes. If you don't want to show it, you're not obligated to show your mistakes, but feel free to make mistakes and just try things out. In the process, you find what is good for you, what works for you. So yeah, I want to play with this and find. So then I'm going to, so here I'm going to use the trick. Sometimes this trick, I don't consciously do it every time, but you can kind of find the midpoints between the two. Sometimes it's not always the midpoint. It could just be it could lean more towards one color than the one. It could lean more towards one hue or saturation than the other. It depends. There's no formula. You just have to feel. Sometimes you just have to feel, get a feel for the drawing or the painting to find the right colors. And I do this. I try to do this studies I like to do a lot of studies because I know people say things like, it becomes a crutch after some time. Yes, I agree. But from what I've seen in the way that I work, at least in the way that I work, I've seen that it's actually better to, for me, this is not for everybody. This may not be for everybody, but for me, I rather study more from references than trying to draw from my head. So I do more of, so if I was to give like a ratio, I would say I do 80% of the time reference and 20% of the time drawing from my imagination. Uh, I find that that's what works for me. Everyone is different, so I've heard professional artists say they advise against using reference, but that's not me. I'm a reference person, not because I want to find the easy way out, or because, but no, it's not a crutch. It's not a crutch for me. I'm not afraid of using reference because it's not a crutch for me. I know how to consciously use references, because a lot of people don't know how to use reference consciously. They just they do it mindlessly. Like when you're doing something mindlessly, it's like your mind is on autopilot, so you're just doing it. But you have to be conscious. It takes a lot of consciousness to use reference well, and that's what I try to do. How did you develop your art style? Yo, this question. So this question about art style, um, to be honest, I don't think I have an art style, and I'm going to go on give a very long sermon as to why I I don't believe in art styles. So first of all, besides the fact that it doesn't help you to be employable, I'm not a fan of art styles because I think that it makes, so this is a different school of thought. I don't know if it's if it's um if it's popular knowledge, or I don't know if it's common knowledge, or if there's really a real school of thought that believes in this. But my belief in about style is that it takes away from the material, like the story. So I believe artists are conduits. So what do I mean by conduit? I mean, I believe that artists are channels for a story to be told, right? So when you come with a style for every story, or for every story you want to tell, then you are denying the story of the opportunity to manifest freely. You are hindering, like, it's almost, to me, it feels like a thing of pride if you care more about style than the story. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but I don't believe in styles. In I believe in the story. I believe in what is necessary, what is important for the story, and finding the right voice and the right tone for your story than putting the artist first. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's my that's my theory. So I don't have a style. I just explore. I just like to I try to see the subjects for what it is at that point in time. And when I'm given an actual job to do, I'm always thinking about the the cultural specificity more than the style, more than if I have a style. And I think that that's really what employers, employers in the animation industry, for example, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for artists don't have, that don't lead with a style, that are not, that are not, that are not caged or boxed to a style. Like they can look at the story and find the right or the appropriate form of expression for that story, as opposed to trying to make the story conform to their style. Even though sometimes people are actually hired because of their style. Yes, I do agree. But I think that more than thinking about style, we should think about the story and what is the best medium for it to exist in itself. So I'd rather people watch my films and appreciate the film for what it is than watch my film and say, hey, that's a style. I don't know. To me, it just feels like a thing of pride. Like, why are you so pride? You think your style is more important than the message, the story. Tigul, I'm on a call. I'm in a meeting. Where are you going? What are you doing? Sorry, my daughter walked in. What are you doing? Yeah, go and say this, okay? Okay. Yeah, yeah. I'm on it. Yeah. So I hope that answers the question. Yeah. I have a daughter. She's 3 months. Sorry, let's say 3 months, 3 years old. Yeah. So I hope I answered your question. And don't be afraid of being messy. Yeah, I don't care about whether it's messy or anything. I just want to get the right tone that I feel is right for that point, that part. Yeah. Okay, so let's work on our abs. I hope I'm able to finish this. I'll try to keep this call to an hour. Hopefully I'm able to finish this thing. Should be able to finish it. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for joining. I really appreciate it. I wasn't expecting I wasn't expecting a lot of people to join because I didn't make any announcements or anything like that. So I just wanted to test the setup to see if it works, and it's working. So oh, oh, oh. Ooh. Sorry, the call is coming. So um, damn, call is coming in. I just I just ended a very important call, but I'll definitely get back to it. Let me try to finish. Let me see how far I can go with this. Please, if you have any questions, feel free to drop the questions and I will try to respond. And so this part is very tricky. I need to get the right. So what I've noticed when painting abs can be very difficult to paint because there's lots of movements there's a lot of little movement here and there that I have to make sense. So, you know, again, I'm not using, like, I'm not color picking anything. I have to look at it and find the right, find the right, s- yeah. So this is one of the problems with being with being live, because now the whole world gets to see your sloppiness. So this is just me being very sloppy right now because I can't get the right tune. Well, I guess that's what makes me human. So I'm not a machine. That's why I'm not a machine. So I think I know what the problem is. I went in. I didn't what's it called? I didn't like I went into the specific. I didn't generalize this part. So I should have I should have made this part more. I should have started with broader details first. That's why I'm struggling at this point. And then also, this is not. This is a stylized version of the image, so it's not very. It's more difficult to interpret the drawing, the paint, the forms, because you have to think about the stylization. So yeah, that's why. Oh yeah, I'm making progress. I'm making some progress. So I'm learning, as I'm painting, I'm also learning because I have to get better. Everybody needs to get better. So there's a lot of room for improvement. Okay, so I'm almost done with this part. I don't want to spend too much time. Again, this is a study. This is not supposed to be like a perfect painting. I also I also am not a fan of realism. I used to be a fan of realism, but not anymore. think that I think I think that humans shouldn't be competing with um cameras. So I'm not a fan of realism. Doing like hyperrealism just sucks the life out of, in my opinion. Alright, let's make some mistakes. don't know if I can play music. Let me try. Oh, I like to work with music, sorry. This was not saying no continuous. All right, so let's quickly run through this thing. It's taking a lot of time. Let's run through this. This looks like the robot from Evangelion. Yeah, she does. Yeah, in a way, she does. She does. But and listen, I'm a huge fan of Evangelion. By the way, I'm a huge fan of Evangelion. Man. I love Evangelion. Any advice for someone that wants to pursue a career in business? Okay, can you specify what exactly you're asking? Like, is it any advice, just any advice, generic advice, or do you have a specific? Well, I think that's let me just see if I can try to answer the question the way that I can. Biz dev. So biz dev is, I mean, a lot is going on in the industry right now, but I don't, I believe you know that already. So I'm not going to discourage anybody from going to the industry. I think I think that the industry would eventually, what I will eventually find is levels. Like the industry will eventually what's correct, like correct itself. But yeah, it's going through a lot. What I would say is if you want to really stand out as a visual development artist, you have to find your own voice, like be known for something, have a unique voice. By unique voice, what I mean is be so there's a concept I call 3D. 3D. So the concept of 3D is three Ds, like D, D, D. So D, D, D. The first D is, for me, that is important as a designer or visual development artist is design. So draftsmanship, that's the first thing. So um, draftsmanship is how well you can draw, how well you can paint, how well your understanding of um, perspective, color theory, um, um, anatomy, figure drawing, dynamic drawings, and stuff like that. All those that draftsmanship, being able to draw from your imagination, anything you want to draw. That's very, very important. It's very important to have. Then the second D is design. So design is how well you know how to you play with shapes, like the ability to play with shapes, the ability um, to find the character in a subject, like being able to communicate a unique interpretation of subjects, being able to capture the essence of a character and communicate that in form of design or in form of a drawing, in form of a character design. That's design. You know how to play with proportions, shape language, and all of that. That's design. And the third one is what I call doctrine. So doctrine is what is your message? Like, who are you as a person? How does your personality shine through with your art? Like how do you what's your specific message? What's your thing? Like I call it what's your shtick? Like what is important to you? Why are you an artist? Why do you feel like people need to care about the work you're putting out? Those things are the things that thing right there is the thing that will set you apart from everybody, from the crowd. Yes, you can have the craftsmanship skills, you can have design skills, but then you still like a needle in a haystack. If you only have draftsmanship skills, or rather if you have only draftsmanship skills, you're like a needle in a stack of needles. If you have draftsmanship and design, you're like a needle in a haystack. But then if you have doctrine, all of a sudden people are drawn to you like, who's this guy? What's his thing? Like why is he? Because I've had people ask me, oh, why do you design only black characters? Like what's your thing with black people? And in my mind, and my answer has always been, why not black people? Because I see black people every day. I was born and bred in Nigeria, so why not black people? So what exactly do you mean? Why shouldn't I like design black people? So and then also doctrine too also sets you apart, because most people are doing okay, well, I don't know if it's still like that, but there was once a time when people love to do fan art, like fan art. You see, like maybe like they drop a new show, like, okay, K-pop Demon Hunters. I don't like talking about shows like current shows or new shows, but okay, let's say Spider-Verse. Okay, so the first Spider-Verse came out, and then everybody was like, yo, I need to do my stuff in Spider-Verse style. Like even clients reaching out to me then were like, yo, can you do this thing to look like Spider-Verse and all that? But you know, at some point, sooner or later, the whole crave for Spider-Verse died, and I mean there's still a crave for Spider-Verse, obviously, but people are no longer crazy about having to do everything in Spider-Verse style. So are you going to join the bandwagon of people that are rushing to do the next trending thing, or are you going to stand out and have your own unique voice? That's really what doctrine is. So do you want to join everybody to do what the Spider-Verse is? That's why if you check my Instagram, because my Instagram is where my portfolio is actually my portfolio. My Instagram does not have concept, like you can really see concept art in there, because I don't believe that um I mean, I don't have anything against concept art. You can do concept art, but for you to get employed and for you to stand out, it can't be concept art. It has to be something unique. It has to be something people have not seen. Let me tell you exactly why it has to be unique, because they're hiring you to solve a problem. Like, think about it. The studio hires you to solve a problem. They're not hiring you to come and do concept art, or to come sign autographs, to collect autographs of your favorite artists and stuff. No, they're hiring you to solve a problem. They're hiring you because they have this story they want to tell, and they're not sure how to go about it. So they need somebody who's an expert. They need somebody to help them figure that out and the um move it forward so that every other person in the pipeline can continue working on that stuff. That's what they need you for. So if you cannot, if all you're putting out is fan arts and all that stuff, man, your chances of being hired is going to be extremely low. So what you want to do is you want to show and demonstrate that you have, in your portfolio, you have to demonstrate that you have a strong ability to solve problems. You have that strong, you have the skill to solve problems, basically. So, and that's the responsibility as a character, as a visual development artist. So you are designing to solve a problem. Did you add texture to the woman's top? Looks like red fabric on my screen. No, I didn't add. Actually, didn't add any texture. That's what I'm saying. So I paint with hard brush. Like this is a hard brush. Because it's a hard brush, I'm thinking about the impression. There's something called impressionism. I'm sure you've heard of this concept before. So I'm painting with the idea of impressionism at the back of my mind. I'm not trying to copy the subject matter per se. I'm trying to give an impression of what it is. I'm not trying to do the exact texture. So that's what I'm trying to achieve here. If you look at someone like Alberto Melgo, that's what his work is like. Mostly like he does a lot of impressionism type of stuff. And I really like impressionism because it's harder than realism. Realism is you see is what you get, but how about you push yourself and do something that we cannot see? Because if you look at the subject, look at the reference on the right and look at the drawing on the left, they're clearly different. So how do you take this from a realistic looking person to somebody that looks very stylized like this, but then still capture the essence of that person? That's to me, that's talent. That's difficult. That's skill right there. No shades to people that are doing like realism and stuff, but that's not my thing. Stay downstairs now. Don't stay downstairs. I'm coming, okay? Yeah, don't stay downstairs. I'm on the floor. Oh. You will not make noise, but you're already making noise now. My daughter likes to see what I'm doing. Like she's very nosy, but she's learning. She's picking up stuff fast. I'm already getting amazed by artwork already. Like she's just 3 and she's able to do stuff that looks like you can actually tell that it's a figure she's drawing. So I hope if you guys don't mind, she's just going to be walking around in the background. All right. So yeah, there's no texture. It's just impressionism. I'm not texturing her, but I'll try to do more live streams where it's more of me, like where I'll be recording. Not now, no. Later, not now. So I'll try to do more of this stuff where but I want to do more of less of studies and actual work. So I'll be doing live stream of where I'll be doing like actual work. So let me just show you. No, don't climb. Hold on. Don't climb it. So let me show you an example of something else. So this is an example of something that I'm designing, but it's not public yet. So maybe when I'm doing something like this next time, I'll do like a live stream or something like that. Let me see. Okay, so I was doing something here as well.
You've been doing this every day.
Yeah, so this one is also another illustration that I'm working on as well, and I will share, like maybe I'll do like a live stream of me working on this stuff next time. Well, I'll try to do like live streams like every every week, maybe on Fridays. No, no, don't put it there, don't put it there. Sorry, sorry. Yeah, so let me get back to, let me see, let me quickly finish this because I don't have so much time left. So you see what I'm doing here? I'm creating the gradients. Like I'm creating the impression of a gradient rather than actual gradients. So that's what really matters at the end of the day. This is impressionism. So, and this is a hard brush, so I'm not trying to do like actual. Yeah, please do your drawing. Draw. Practice your drawing. Try to draw regularly. It's very important. Maybe another time I'll try to do like it, I'll try to do more. I'll try to do a sketchbook showcase. Like I have sketchbooks, like sketchbooks of artworks or drawings and stuff. So I'll try to do a sketchbook showcase. You see what my, like the part that I don't show anybody, I'll try to show. And then maybe I'll do like demos, actual sections, drawing sessions with pencil because I'm a traditional guy. Like I like traditional stuff a lot. So I'll show my pencil drawing process. The abs are popping. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not sure it's there, but because of time, I have to keep moving. So not it's not there at all. But one thing about, yeah, okay, like a block, like a chocolate block, yeah. One thing I like about regular please. It said we're not going to stop. Um, one thing I like about painting like this is it's close. It gives me the feeling of painting like oil on canvas. I used to do oil on canvas, you know, back in the days, but it's been a while. I touched oil. And everything I'm doing is recorded. So I'm going to use the same technique. watching an artist at work is very boring. So I really commend you guys for what was staying hanging around. It can get like really, really boring. So I commend you. People like I said, you know, make noise.
I
I'm gonna take a walk now. What are you doing? Let's take a walk. It's late.
My friend outside.
Yeah, no, okay, then outside, that's fine. Another day, take a walk.
Which day?
Maybe tomorrow. So what I'm trying to do with this, the pants as well, is to give the same impression of impressionism. Okay, so let's quickly run through the
Yeah.
I'm not done now. So this some huge shifts going on here. It's a slight huge shift going on here. These huge shifts are the things that make your arts, your black, that make black skins look believable. I'm watching this on my living room TV after work, not boring. Oh, are you serious? Wow. Thank you all for allowing me to intrude in your private space, like your living room. Thanks. Do you think I should leave this video on YouTube? Or I'm tempted to delete? Tempted to delete it. Delete it. Oh, okay. Yes, said yes. No, it's not for you. Mm. Mm. So you said leave it up. Yeah, I should not delete. Don't worry, I won't delete. I won't delete it. The shadows for the label thing on the top. Yeah, yeah. What happened to the shadows? Yeah, shadows are okay. I need to experiment with the gel pens. Stop playing with things. And procreate on my iPad and practice what it was. Yo, man, try this stuff out. It really helps. I know the first time you try it out, it'll be like really weird, but because painting and to be very stressful because painting with um lost my train of thoughts. Painting with the hard brush is very difficult. No, don't climb on it. Sit down. Oh, yeah, thanks, Mikhail. I think I need to try and finish this thing like real fast right now. So because this has been it's taking like really long. So this is an hour and 22 minutes already. So although I spent the first 22 minutes or thereabout fiddling with the sound, so I'll try and finish. No, don't open it. Okay. Please tell us it's me. And please stay downstairs and come in, okay? Okay? No, stay downstairs. I'll come in very soon, okay? Let me quickly finish, okay? Okay, stay with Mama. Let me tell Blessing, okay? Just tell her. Thank you. I've heard a lot of people say that live streams really helps. It really helps with racking up the numbers for YouTube streams, YouTube views. So I just wanted to just try this thing out and see. Because I also struggled a lot with numbers up, but hey, at the end of the day, man, it's the people that I care about more than the numbers because the numbers, yeah, these things come and go. I'm not really a YouTuber at the end of the day because creating content for YouTube can be very frustrating. So there are two different skill sets, like creating content for YouTube and being an artist, two different skill sets. So it's not something I'm very comfortable doing, but and yeah, so one of the reasons why I also was struggling to create new content was because I noticed that I actually didn't know this before, but like I said, it's two different skill sets to be a YouTuber, like to have a YouTube channel. It's a different skill set. Like just because you're a professional at something doesn't mean that you would succeed at YouTube. So I after realizing that, I decided to just, well, because I don't want to become a YouTuber at the expense of being an artist. So I didn't want one to suffer more than the other. So that's why I decided to just lay low for a while.